How aware are you of how the breath changes when we're stressed versus when we're calm? Today I will go over 4 different techniques and ways to build our own stress resilience, how we can use the breath and other modalities to reduce our overall stress. So hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Kay and I am a breath coach and a meditation teacher. And on this channel we go on about all the stuff such as slow living, breathwork and nature wellbeing. So, number 1. So we're going to be talking about extended exhales. So basically this is where your exhale is longer than your in-breath. So this is important for stress relief because when you are exhaling for longer than your inhale, it's actually signalling to your body that it is safe and it is okay to go into the calm energy of rest and digest, or the parasympathetic nervous system. When you're exhaling for longer than inhale, it slows down your heartbeat and it also stimulates part of your vagus nerve, and this allows you to adapt to your surroundings and realise that it's okay to be calm. So this breath is perfect for if you're stressed out and you can feel that you are in an elevated state of the fight or flight and you want to enter the other side of your nervous system and the rest and digest. And just doing this for 2 minutes can have a significant effect on how you're feeling in the moment. I'd just like to apologise for any noises you hear. There's workers outside, I heard a kid. For some reason it's got really busy just as I decided to film, and it's starting to get dark, so I had to do it now. But yeah, just ignore any background noise. So number 2 on the list is the Wim Hof technique. So this section I will talk about the breath as well as cold water exposure. I don't normally like to say to do this technique for stress because personally I find that it engages my sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, so I do end up feeling a bit more anxious than normal. But for a lot of people it can have the opposite effect, so this is why I've included it. So the Wim Hof technique is kind of stressful to the body because it actually is similar to hyperventilation, but when you consciously do this you can use it to work through trauma and other things, and you can also train your body to get used to feeling stressed because you are in fact stressing out your body with the breath. So the next half of his practice is cold water exposure, and this is where I see the most benefits. So again, this is stressful to the body, but only when you first get in. Obviously when you get into cold water your body kind of has a little shock response and you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't be in here. But as you calm down and use your breath to start breathing properly and you sit in there for, it doesn't have to be long, it can be 30 seconds to a few minutes to get the benefits, but your endorphins start to go around your body, and these include hormones such as dopamine, oxytocin, which is like the love hormone, and basically this outweighs the negative shock that you first got. So cold exposure helps by increasing your mood by engaging these hormones. It also is useful because cold water lowers your outside temperature, and basically anxiety is when your heart rate goes up and you get warmer, but the opposite happens when you go into cold water, so your heart rate lowers and your body temperature also lowers. And again, disclaimer, if you've never done it before, go in slowly, go in with a group, because you can get hypothermia if you don't know what you're doing, and you can go into cold water shock, so be very careful, especially outdoors. So now number 3. So I'm going to talk about the heart coherence breath, or the HRV breathing technique. So as you are going through your day, stresses come at you and your body and your heart rate adjusts to this. So the heart coherence breath is basically a breath which you count. The in-breath is about 5.5 seconds and the out-breath is 5.5 seconds. And this is based on like the average height of men and women. But basically you want a higher heart rate variable, but you want it to be more stable. But when I say stable, it's not like just like your heart rate is like going the same over and over again. It's quite a up and down, but it's quite up and down in a pattern, and it goes high, and that is what is important for feeling good and reaching a state of heart coherence. So Dr. Joe Dispenza also does this in his meditations and uses it for manifestation and stuff like that. And just doing 5 to 10 minutes can last for hours at a time, keeping your heart rate high or the variable high and stable. So this breath is lowering of the blood pressure, it relieves anxiety, promotes relaxation, lowers the heart rate, and improves your mood as well, which is why heart coherence comes into it, because you can make it feel good and loving and safe basically. Also, if you have a higher heart rate variable, you also tend to be a healthier individual, and exercise can help with this. Last but not least, we have number 4, which is a physiological sigh and yawn. I had to double check how to say that because I am dyslexic and I keep trying to say psychological and physiological and just many different words. Sighing and yawning is a sign that you are leaving a certain side of your nervous system. So if you start to sigh, I do this at work because I'm also a chef. After I've had a really busy period, I tend to go and it's basically my body resetting and leaving the sympathetic state and entering the parasympathetic, the rest, digest and restore. This also resets the heart rate variability. That's important after high levels of stress. So sighing is often seen as a bad thing. Like if you've ever spoken to someone, usually as a kid and an adult, and you're like, they're like, oh my god, why are you being so rude? But it's not a rude thing, it's actually a trait that we have as humans grown, and it's important for us, it's important for us to do. And it often signals that the brain is also changing state. The physiological sigh, it's not quite, when done this way, just to do it consciously. It's like you breathe in once and then twice, and then you go and let out all your breath. Next one is yawning, and again you may notice that when you were a kid, if you yawned in class or someone else yawned in class, the teacher would sort of look at you and be like, are you not listening? Are you bored? And that's actually not true. And maybe sometimes it is, but usually it's not true. So a yawn changes our brain from different things. So we can shift from focused demands into creative thinking and problem solving, and that is really what it's for. And also obviously when you're tired you yawn. I always thought it was to do with getting more oxygen in and around your body, but it also has a lot to do with the change of your brain state, and it can also be useful for restful daydreaming. So yawning is a way of your body signalling that it's going from focus to a more relaxed state where maybe you do need that rest and the brain needs to rest from so much focus. So I'd say that sighing is more important for, and well, more beneficial for lowering your stress, but I just added the yawn in there because it's a fun thing to try and practice, and once you start you can't stop. I feel like I'm about to yawn now, even speaking about it. Maybe I've made you yawn as well, and I'm sorry. So you can use the sigh to get out of the fight or flight response, and you can use the yawn to help you gain focus. So if you're really stressed and you maybe need to be thinking more creatively or solve a problem, if you purposely do some yawns, you can shift your brain, and then that might help somehow to lower the stress of whatever you're working on in that moment. So there you have it. There are 4 different ways that you can use the breath and another technique, the cold exposure, to help you lower your stress, become more resilient to stress, and if you have anxiety, to help you relieve some of that built up energy and feeling within by changing the nervous system by simply using the breath and this technique of cold exposure. So if you liked what you heard and anything resonated, let me know below. If you want me to do any videos on any of these techniques and guide you through it, let me know as well, and I will make a video for you to do. But for today, that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next month for the next video. Thank you.